Alright, so now we're going to talk about the fourth Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Alright, well, this one's okay. There's some good parts, there's some bad parts. The main thing about this movie compared to the book is it's a really long book. It's one of the first really long Harry Potter. So if you don't like the last few, they got most of what happened in the movie. This one, there's a lot more that happens in the book, so naturally they have to get rid of some of it. This is when we start to see a lot more of them taking stuff out of the book, like in the fourth one. I don't remember all of the stuff that happens, but there's some stuff, mostly about house elves and things like that. Like Dobby's back, but we don't see him in the movie, and just things like that. But the way they do it in the movie, I think, works. Now, one of the first things that I think is really stupid that they did in the movie version is this is the Triwizard Tournament. So we got three schools competing. The first school is Hogwarts, of course, three magical schools, I mean, and then there's Drumstrang, which is Russian or something, and Bow something. I'm not good at French, which is the French school. The book, that's all they are. It's a French school and a Russian school, something like that. But in the movie, it's dumb because the French school becomes an all-girls school, and the Russian-ish school becomes an all-boys school. The only reason they did this, I believe, is because I think they're sexist, and there's a girl. They have to have a girl because they can't all have boy champions. They have each school gets a champ, puts their name in a Goblet of Fire and gets a champion. And the Goblet of Fire chooses a champion for each school. So obviously, it's not just going to be three boys. That would be boring and sexy. So obviously, one of the schools gets a girl. But no, it's like in the movie, it's like, oh, well, the French school's champion is a girl because they're all girls. That's the only reason. Otherwise, it would have been a boy. And then I bet someone's like, oh, well, that's dumb. You should make the Russian one all boy. So it's like, oh, that evens it out. Perfect. No, it's just stupid and unnecessary. Like, I don't know. It's really dumb to me. Also, there's a lot of characters in this one, the only reason it's just like you forget who most of them are if you're watching the movie and you haven't read the book, and also even if you have read the book because you're not sure which actor is which character in the book, it would tell you right away who's talking. But in the movie, they say the characters' names like a couple times, but it's easy to forget. Like there's Cedric, there's Cedric, there's Crumb, and hot French chick number one. I forget her name. Fleur. There, got it. And then there's the principal or whatever the hell you call it, of the French school, the principal of the Russian school, and then you got like a bunch of Ministry of Magic people who are there, and it's really hard to follow. And that's just because it's a movie and they only have a couple hours to do it, and it's hard to remember who each character is. It's just hard to do. Like Barty Crouch, who's one of the Ministry guys who's there. So yeah, mostly the problems with this is it's just the book's really long. Yeah, like at the beginning, it starts off with the beginning scene of the book, which I wasn't expecting. I thought they were going to skip over this. It's kind of cool. They show this random muggle who gets killed by Voldemort. It's not really that important, but it makes for a good intro scene. And the only reason we can see it is because Harry had a dream of this happening because he has this connection with Voldemort, which we learn more about in this movie. Now, the reason that this is interesting. No, the reason this is bad is because what happens next. Harry wakes up and he's already at Ron's house, which is like, wait a minute, what? we just skipped a large portion of the book. About a month happens in between that. And there's some really cool stuff in there. Like the Weasleys come over to Harry's house or the Dursleys to pick them up, and it's hilarious because they come through the fireplace, and the Dursleys are dumb, and they have the fireplace blocked off and stuff, and it's fun. I mean, it's funny. It was enjoyable, and we didn't get to see that in the movie, which is just too bad. And then yeah, oh yeah, here's another thing. Right after that, they go to the Quidditch game. Yeah, and it was like minor details like before they go to the Quidditch game, they have to find a key, which is important. But it's just there. It's just so obvious. It's like here it is. But in the book, it's like it's not obvious because we didn't want any Muggles to accidentally find it. It's this random old boot that's lying on the ground. But in the movie, it's like all set up on the very top of the hill. It's like don't. There's no way you could possibly miss it. It's like Muggles aren't idiots. They would be like, why would a boot be why would a boot be there like that? It's strange. It's just more obvious, and that's the whole point of the Porky is that it's not obvious. Um, anyways, they go to the Quidditch game. It's like the Quidditch World Cup, which is like the soccer football World Cup, and it's like this huge. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Look, there's that guy Crumb. Woohoo! Let's go watch the Quidditch game. Wow, that was a really good Quidditch game. You don't even get to see it. It's so stupid. They show the start of it, and then they show them already the Quidditch game being over. You don't even see what. You don't even hear what happened. And like Quidditch is one of those fun things. It would be nice. The game is not even that long. It's actually pretty short. It would be nice for them to at least like then go over some of the like highlights or the Quidditch game or something like that. And one of the cool things that I thought of was Fred and George would make a huge bet, like all their money on the outcome of the game, and they get it right, so they are supposed to make a whole bunch of money, but they get ripped off. And that's just a subplot, but it's those things that I really like. And they put it in instead. They have them singing and dancing around with Ron and stuff, and it's like, yay, they're having fun, but we didn't even get to see the game that they were having fun about, so it's dumb. And then, yeah, then the masked men come in and things like that, and yeah, there's lots of stuff happening in this one, and so it goes really quick, and there's not really much you can do about that. For the most part, they do a good job. Like, yeah. There was some stuff that they added, which is like this one part where Ron's talking to. Anyways, Ron hears this thing from this guy who told this thing from this other guy who heard it from Hermione. And it's this weird thing that they keep going for a while. It's not really that interesting, I don't think. But it does here's something I really hate. The hedge maze was so cool. It was just a regular maze, but they put a bunch of awesome monsters in there that they have to fight. Like there's a Dementor, no, there isn't a Dementor, never mind, there's a Bogart and like a giant spider and a Phoenix and or no not Phoenix, Sphinx, this cool riddle Harry has to solve. Just things like that, and it's like it's more interesting because it's more exciting. There's actual physical things that are there. And then Dumbledore gets all intense in the movie. Dumbledore gets all it's like this maze is really intense because there isn't any creatures in there. There's people change in the maze. It's really exciting. It's like we're fighting a bush. It's not exciting. It's stupid. It's a magical bush, sure, but it's not that exciting. It's better to fight magical creatures and like it's one of those things that they changed just dumb. Now then later on we do get to see Voldemort, and I think they did a really cool job with his design and how he is brought back. That's all basically the same, and it's like yeah, Voldemort's really cool, and we finally get to see him in person, and he's alive again. And it's like whoa and stuff, and he does kill Cedric, and that's actually done really well, I think. And then what we see, is this guy, Moody, Mad Eye, sorry, Mad Eye, who is this weird guy. And you think, well, he might be bad, then he ends up helping Harry. So okay, he's not too bad. But he is actually bad because he's been changed by Polyjuice to look like this guy, and he's actually Death Thief. Sorry, and it's just the way it's done is some parts are too obvious, and some parts are too vague. It just it's like, oh, there's this chest that he kept the actual guy in, and it's like super obvious. There's obviously something wrong, not normal in there that can't be good. But this guy ends up helping Harry and stuff. So it's like, so yeah, which is true. He does feel like, oh, well, we don't know if this guy's good or not, which is kind of true for the most part. But then it's just like, okay, yeah, he's bad now, and it's just like so obvious. And he gives away his whole evil plan because they gave him truth serum, which he didn't give away his whole evil plan. That was the problem. That's the problem I had. In the book, he gives away his whole evil plan because they gave him this magical truth serum. But in the movie, is like they're like, are you a Death Eater? And he's like, no, I mean yes, and it's like stupid because he only says like 3 words from the truth serum. That's like in the book, he just spills his life story, and it's kind of cool. Obviously, you don't have to do the whole thing, but like at least show that this truth serum is legit. And yeah, they do a good job of like showing some stuff that happened early, like foreshadowing some stuff, which so it's not that bad. And like I said before, it is a long book, so there's a lot more that happens. And the video's been actually pretty long. One other thing. Oh yes, with Neville, there's this one part for the second task. They have to go underwater. So Mad Eye or Mad Eye, his original plan is to give Neville this book about herbology, which is the only thing that Neville's good at and that he finds interesting. And there's a certain plant that lets Harry breathe underwater. So that makes perfect sense. That's an obvious plan, and Harry should be asking all his friends and stuff if they know anything that could help him breathe underwater. And so that plan makes perfect sense, and that's what happens in the movie. But in the book, it's actually different. Harry doesn't think to do that, so at the last second, Dobby gives Mad-Eye gets Dobby. We get to see Dobby again. That's great. And gets Dobby to give Harry the gilly weed that lets him breathe underwater. And like it just, and I get why they did that in the movie. Actually, that's not too bad because it just be kind of complicated to explain. Well, Neville was supposed to do this, but he messed it up. Harry messed it up, so we had to get Dobby in there in the last 5 seconds. And yeah, but other than that, fairly good. But there's still obviously a lot to talk about, and this is a longer book. But it's yeah, it is. And this one was also the very start of the darker Harry Potter, which is I think really cool that we get to see Harry grow. Like I said earlier, we get to see him grow, and then this image becomes dark. And you know, it's not that bad, but there's obviously still things that I had a problem with. And I think that's all I gotta say. I'll try and do the rest of the Harry Potters. And thanks for watching. Also, comment any other books that you want me to talk about, their movies and stuff. Goodbye.